A very good evening and welcome to Newswatch tonight. My name is Melissa Odor. On the sign language is Boniface Mureithi, and the Newswatch begins now. With only 5 days remaining to the grand mass protest in Nairobi, Azimio la Umoja protesters have today staged riots in Kisumu City, heeding calls by the party leader Raila Odinga. The demonstrators began their protest at the Kisumu bus stop and proceeded to the Central Business District, where they made their grievances known to the Kisumu Deputy County Commissioner Hussein Alason Hussein. Our very own Whitney Akinyi brings us that story.
It is exactly 7 days since Azimio la Umoja One coalition officiated the beginning of a nationwide demonstration over the high cost of living, among other issues. These followed the lapse of a 14 days ultimatum issued by the opposition to the Kenya Kwanza government after failure to address their concerns. The countrywide protests have taken their roots in various counties in the country, even as they await the much anticipated protest to crown it all, set for early next week in Nairobi. Among counties that have actively participated in the protest include Kisumu, Nyandarua, Kilifi, Siaya, Mombasa, Narok, and Migori. President William Ruto has assured Kenyans that there is no need to panic over the threats of the opposition's countrywide protest next week, further assuring that no life, property, or business will be lost, as Kenya is a country that is governed by laws and no man is above the law.
And we must tell my good friend Raila Odinga, you cannot. Enough is enough. You cannot continue to blackmail the country. And we have no problem with you organized demonstration. But please, it is your responsibility to work with the police to make sure that the rest of the citizens of Kenya, their lives are not disrupted, their property is not destroyed, their business is not affected, they can go to work, you can carry out your demonstration. Tunaelewana? Ama ni aje? Si namna hiyo? It is just a fair game. Hakuna haja ya kusumbuana.
This is what we have been trying to say. You cannot be walking around telling people you want somebody to observe the rule of law, and you yourself are so blatantly breaking the rule of law and giving a fictitious declaration which has no basis and has no legal notice.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Whitney Akinyi.
Thank you, Whitney, for that report. Now, President William Ruto has assured Kenyans that they have nothing to worry following threats by the opposition leaders to hold countrywide demonstrations next week. The president urged the opposition leader Raila Odinga to liaise with the police over the demonstrations to agitate for the lowered cost of living. He said Kenyans have the right to hold protests, but must do so peacefully and within the law. The president said Kenya is a country governed by the rule of law and no one was above the law. Hence, they will not submit to Odinga's threats and blackmails. The president was speaking at State House, Nairobi today when he met with leaders from Trans Nzoia County.
And we must tell my good friend Raila Odinga, you cannot. Enough is enough. You cannot continue to blackmail the country. And we have no problem with you organized demonstration. But please, it is your responsibility to work with the police to make sure that the rest of the citizens of Kenya, their lives are not disrupted, their property is not destroyed, their business is not affected, they can go to work, you can carry out your demonstration. We cannot have two sets of laws in Kenya. It's not possible. We have one constitution, we have one set of laws established by the people of Kenya, laws passed by the representatives of the people of Kenya in Parliament. You cannot tell us that you have another set of laws that you make in your mind and pass in your thoughts, and you want to tell us that you are above the law, that you do not recognize our constitution, that you do not recognize the laws of Kenya, that you are above the law, you have your own set of laws that you have made as an individual.
Now, a day after 6 political parties folded to join the United Democratic Alliance Party, President William Ruto has continued to harvest heavily from the opposition, with the former Kanu Secretary General Nick Salat being the latest to join the ruling party. Speaking at the UDA headquarters when he was received by UDA Secretary General Clopas Malala, Salat said his decision to join UDA came after the Kanu party, which he had served for 15 years, lost its direction and unity. And as Kennedy Kimani now reports, the consolidation of UDA into a mega party is happening at a time when Azimio has piled up pressure by mobilizing supporters to protest against the rising cost of living.
Kenya's ruling party UDA has continued to harvest heavily from the opposition as it plots for a merge of political parties before the 2027 elections. Just a day after 6 parties of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance folded to join the ruling party, UDA has today welcomed more members, with the latest being the immediate former Kanu Secretary General Nick Salat.
So we decided that the party of choice that we will join, and don't look at this team alone, SG, we are many. These are only a sample of the people who are willing and ready to join you. And given a chance, you will see a big number of Kanu members who are willing to join UDA.
Sisi tumesema katika Kenya Kwanza, hatushurutishi chama chochote kuvunjwa. Sisi tunaongea na wale ambao wanaifanya kwa hiari, kwamba ukiona kwamba mawazo ya chama chako na mawazo ya UDA inaambatana, basi ya ushurutishi unakuja unajiunga na chama cha UDA. Lakini ukiona kwamba wewe hautaki kuvunja chama chako, sisi tumesema kama Kenya Kwanza tutazidi kufanya kazi na wale ambao bado wangependa ku maintain vyama zao. Tutafanya kazi nao kwa heshima, na bado serikali hii ni serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Ni serikali ambayo bado inatimiza zile ahadi za coalition za Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza iko paka ile siku ambayo kutakuwa na mkataba mwingine.
The consolidation of UDA into a mega party is happening at a time when Azimio has piled up pressure by mobilizing supporters to protest against the rising cost of living. Malala has, however, dismissed Azimio leader Raila Odinga's call for public holiday on Monday to allow his followers to protest, saying that Monday is a working day and that Kenyans should ignore the call for demonstrations.
Sasa tunaambia wale wabunge wa ODM kwamba Monday ndio tunafunga masuala ya budget. Msiende maandamano alafu mambo yenyu ya maendeleo mkose kuweka kwa budget on Monday, alafu mkuje mwanze kulia tena ati hamjapata maendeleo katika constituency zenyu. Ndindi Nyoro atakuwa anafanya finalization ya report yake ya budget. Sasa wewe kama unataka wananchi wako wapate maendeleo, wewe kama kiongozi wa ODM, chagua on Monday. Utaenda kwa Ndindi Nyoro uhakikishe maendeleo imewekwa kwenye budget, ama utaenda kulinga mawe na kuimba tibim na tialala mpaka jioni. Chaguo ni lako, lakini tunasema Monday is a working day. Ignore any declarations made by some people in this country.
Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
And to other matters now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has pledged the government's commitment to implement reforms at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, in order to make it more efficient, transparent, and responsive to the growing medical demands. DP Gachagua stated that the agency remains critical in the government's plan of ensuring the implementation of the Universal Health Coverage UHC, noting that the ongoing reforms at the parastatal were paying off and it is on the right track to becoming a reliable and reputable organization. Grace Ahati has the details.
Thank you very much.
In a bid to revive the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency KEMSA to make it a reputable organization and more efficient to the growing medical demands in the country, the government says it is relentless in ensuring reforms at the agency are implemented. Speaking when he hosted senior officials from KEMSA together with local and international partners in the health sector in Nairobi, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the ongoing reforms are bearing fruits.
The government has partnered with the county governments 50-50 to provide a stipend to encourage the community health volunteers. And I think the intervention at that level, the projections we have been given by our economic experts, in 5 years, we can bring down the cost of treatment to almost half.
Gachagua challenged the KEMSA officials to modernize the agency's operations through adoption of latest technology, saying it would help improve service delivery as well as rid it of scandals. He said an integrated healthcare management system was critical for enhancing service delivery, challenging the senior managers to ensure its implementation.
We need to modernize the operations of KEMSA. This is a new world. We can't do things the way we were doing them 30 years ago. We have to keep up with the times. We have to embrace technology. We must leverage on technology so that we are in tandem with the modern world.
KEMSA Chief Executive Officer Terry Ramadhani said they were up to the task as the ongoing reforms being implemented were already paying off. In attendance were KEMSA Board Chairman Daniel Rono, United States Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman, AMREF Country Director Githinji Gitahi, World Health Organization Country Director Abdurrahmane Diallo, among other stakeholders. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. Now, Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua has called on the Commonwealth to be seized of the triple planetary crisis of climate change, pollution and biodiversity loss, noting that they had conspired to intensify and broaden violent conflicts and insecurity in Africa. Addressing the 22nd Commonwealth Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting taking place at the Commonwealth Foreign Affairs Ministers Commonwealth headquarters in Marlborough House in London, CS Mutua appraised on Kenya's leadership in advancing a cleaner, greener and sustainable environment by informing that President William Ruto had advocated for the planting of 15 billion trees by the year 2032, which had with the plan to increase Kenya's tree cover from 12.13% to 30%. Now, in urging for a Commonwealth that was fit for purpose, Dr. Mutua called for the removal of trade barriers such as restrictive visa regimes, noting that elimination of such visa requirements and other non-trade barriers would increase trade and commerce between Commonwealth member nations. The meeting has brought together ministers from across the Commonwealth to discuss joint responses to shared challenges. Let's take our first short break here on Hope TV Newswatch. We'll be back with many more stories. Don't go too far.
This week on Testify.
This guy came and he opened the Bible. They told me, he read for me, do not drink water only. When I attempted to drink, most of the half of it fell on my chest.
You are still shaking.
I'm still shaking. So the guy here, he told me, now I have known why you are shaking. The place where we read,
Yes.
it said wine. This is alcohol. We have to change.
Hope TV. Look and live. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
And And we're back with more news stories. First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto has distributed foodstuff to Korogosho residents in an event attended by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja and other Nairobi County government officials. She was flanked by her joyful women organization Joiwo that champions table banking among women doing various businesses. 4,000 families from the 9 villages in Korogosho benefited from the food distribution that was sponsored by Provide International, Prime Bank, Mama Doing Good, and Spread Truth Africa organization that provides nutritious foods to pregnant and lactating mothers. On his part, Governor Sakaja urged the national government not to neglect the needs of people living in low-income estates in Nairobi County, pledging to work with all people groups to alleviate hunger.
Nimekuwa katika counties 47 na wakati nimetembea Kenya nimekuja kuona kwamba ni vizuri kufundisha watu ama ile tunasema kwanza kwamba kupatia mtu kwenda kujivulia samaki, lakini wakati mwingine pia ni vizuri kama ungeweza kupatia huyo mtu samaki, kwa sababu Kenya ni kubwa, mambo ni mengi. Kuna sehemu ambayo tunapata mvua vizuri, kama wakati mwingine nilikuwa kule Kisii wakaniambia kwamba wanapata mvua miezi 10 kati ya ile miezi 12 tuko naye kwa mwaka mmoja. Nimeenda kule North Eastern, nimefika kule Wajia, nimefika sehemu kama Garissa, na najua kwamba uko Turkana na sehemu kama hizo mvua ni adimu. Ndio nimesema kwamba Mungu akitupatia kitu kwa mfuko ama Mungu akitupatia kitu kwa mkono kama chakula ambayo tumepata siku ya leo, itakuwa vizuri ili tuweze kuwaletea.
Rais wetu alitambua ya kwamba msingi wa kila nchi ni chakula, sivyo? Na ndio maana alipoingia katika uongozi, jambo la kwanza alisema ni kupunguza ile bei ya fertilizer. Si mnakumbuka? Ili sehemu zote za nchi ambao wanalima, wanaleta hii lisho, waweze kuzidisha juu mazao. Tukue na chakula, tukue na mahindi, tukue na mchele.
Watu wanaumia. Ile njaa iko Nairobi ni mingi. Na mimi niliambia rais na nikaambia deputy president Rigathi Gachagua, sasa ile wanakutana na hao wazungu na wafadhili na wanaopatia pesa ati kupeana chakula, wanaenda tu kule North Eastern, wanaenda tu kule North Rift, lakini Nairobi ni shamba ya mawe. Sasa ile watu Nairobi hawana food, sasa ile hakuna chapa, Nairobi hakuna mali utakaa na hakuna kitu utakula. Msikuwe mnasahau Nairobi.
Blue economy, green energy, health and transport are some of the major pillars dominating the 11th Lake Region Economic Bloc Eldoret Summit that is underway in Migori County. The 3-day event, bringing together stakeholders from all the 14 Eldoret members and various stakeholders across the country, is themed laying the foundation for sustainable utilization of shared resources. The Strategic Plan 2022 to 2027 is expected to propel the bloc's development and growth that have been brought together by similar ecological zones, natural resources, and cultural histories that date back to historical migrations and trade routes. Eldoret has more than 14 million people, making it an important block in the economy of Kenya in terms of transport network. The bloc has 40% of the Kenyan population and contributes to almost 50% of the Kenyan economy.
I want to agree with the chair and also Caesar Asio for the issues they have flagged out as being the major in the blue economy, progress and development in our region. The most important is the seedling or getting the fingerlings. That is a very important area. And most farmers want to go into fish farming, but to get fingerlings is a problem. So that's an area where we need as a region to figure out how do we work with the private sector, with the Victory farms and other private investors to ensure that we have enough seedling or enough fingerlings. The second, again, is the feeds. Feeds are very, very expensive. And most of the times, you can't get the feeds, even when you have the money. So also as a region, we need to find out how best do we put up a feeds factory I'm surprised they have put up a feeds factory in Naivasha. How do we do it here in the Lake Region economy?
What we are looking at now is to partner with organizations that can offer alternatives to firewood, because once we have the alternatives, especially using GCOS, then those communities around the forest can help in conserving the forest. I want to thank LREP for this very good objective and the theme of our summit around sustainable development and partnership, and more importantly on waste management. I think it's very important. I want just to echo what Governor Titular said about pollution and waste management. In Kakamega, we have partnered with some companies who are coming up with organic fertilizer from organic waste. This is now a situation where waste has become very important. It's a raw material for us to get organic fertilizer. I think when we harness those activities, I can assure we are going to conserve our forest, and then we are going to sustainably use our resources.
The national government, I think they should have been here, because they get a lot of money in the name of blue economy. But that money never really gets to the counties who should be implementing some of these projects. So I hope next time, when we are talking about matters blue economy or other matters, I think the relevant sectors in the national government, not just the Principal Secretary for Devolution, I think the Principal Secretary for Agriculture should have been here, because we are talking about the same people.
And Baptist Mission in Kenya, in partnership with Crisis the Answer Ministries, is conducting a training for hospital chaplains from CITAM Church Assemblies and the Baptist Church. The two-day training, which kicked off at CITAM Valley Road today, saw participants trained on how to conduct ministry in hospitals across the country, targeting patients, caregivers, and hospital staff of all religion. This is the second hospital chaplains training conducted by the Baptist Mission in Kenya in partnership with CITAM, after the first one was conducted about 6 months ago.
We are training in hospital chaplaincy specifically, and with hospital chaplaincy, it is a need. We have requests from hospitals for all of us as followers of Jesus Christ to be able to be present there, to be able to help patients. Today, the biggest idea of what we're trying to do with hospital chaplaincy is the idea of a ministry of presence, and that we all have that need of coming in and just being with someone. And then how do we listen well to what's going on in there? And the hope and the goal, the ultimate idea, is that we would be able to see God's love be able to be displayed in the hospitals with people in need, but then also from that we see God's love permeate our societies, our cities, and the places where we are at.
As a church and also as a chaplain, I realize that that gap needs to be filled, and it's important for us to get enriched or to be trained adequately for us to be able to offer ministry and services to the patients, so that they're able to balance out their well-being in their spiritual as well as their physical body.
I've seen the usefulness of this training, because we reach out and touch the lives of the patients directly, and especially bringing them hope in a time of hopelessness. And we do not just reach out to the patients, we reach out also to their caregivers, and we reach out to people of different faiths, not only just Christians, but we deal with Muslims, the Hindus, and some of them who even profess that they are they don't belong to any religion. So it is, when we reach there, we are not just going there to preach our faith, but we are going there to reach out with the hope.
To the courts now, embattled Safari Rally driver Maxine Wahome has pleaded not guilty to the murder charges of her late boyfriend and fellow rally driver Asad Khan. According to Maxine, who made a virtual appearance before Justice Lillian Mutende for the court hearings today, the late Asad inflicted the life-ending injuries on himself, and while narrating the events of the fateful day which led to her arrest in December last year, Maxine claimed that Assad woke her up violently and ordered her to leave his house. She stated that Asadi injured himself and managed to take himself to hospital. Maxine, through her lawyer Philip Murgor, however, said she will attend all court sessions diligently and further asked the court to release her on bail. The prosecution has asked the court to remand her at the Langata Women's Prison ahead of the bail hearings on Tuesday next week.
The lawyers for the victims now joining hands to ask for time to reply to the question of whether or not proceedings should be in open court and in the public. You can see nothing more than delay, delay, and more delay. Having said that, anyway, I have consulted with my colleagues and I am advised to remind the court politely that there is an application for bail pending trial, filed on 7th, served on 7th, which has been responded to. The primary purpose of us asking for a hearing, open public hearing in open court, is to argue that application today. And when I say today, we mean today. So we are quite happy to, before I say that we are taking a position on this application, we have looked at the record that was extracted from the proceedings of the 7th, and we have noted happily that there was no order for a virtual mention today. It was to be physical. There was no order for virtual. So perhaps the court can quickly look at the record and see whether or not that note was there, because it wasn't. And so perhaps there is just administrative confusion in listing it as a virtual. If we are correct, we need not say anything except give everyone a short opportunity to present themselves and bring the accused to court for her to enjoy her constitutional rights to the fullest. Initially, I must be forgiven if I'm wrong, but I thought Dastan Omari was outside in the car park because of the background. But I might be wrong. But as for the DPP, they are available. Kilimani is 5 minutes away. And Danstan Omari and his team have no right of participation without leave. And they must apply for leave at every stage whenever they want to say something. In this case, they haven't applied for leave. They have no right to put in an affidavit.
Hope TV is now available on GoTV Channel 103, Zuku Channel 873, Signet Channel 817 and Star Times Channel 026. Enjoy our uplifting content and family-friendly programming anytime. Hope TV, you look and live. This week on Testify.
This guy came and he opened the Bible. They told me, he read for me, do not drink water only. When I attempted to drink, most of the half of it fell on my chest.
You are still shaking.
I'm still shaking. So the guy here, he told me, now I have known why you are shaking. The place where we read,
Yes.
it said wine. This is alcohol. We have to change.
Hope TV, look and live.
On to business news now. The Kenya Orient Life Assurance has emerged the first runners-up for the Group Life Best Loss Ratio Award during the 2022 Association of Kenya Insurers Aki Awards, for achieving a minimum loss ratio of 16.28% in 2022. Now, the award, categorized under the life insurance category, is in recognition of life assurance providers' performance in underwriting and making profits from paying customer claims. Speaking during the annual award ceremony, Kenya Orient Life Assurance Principal Officer Jackson Muli noted that the win was as a result of the commitment demonstrated by the team that was behind the brand, who have continuously showcased their commitment to serving their customers tirelessly. And electronics company LG has unveiled the latest cutting-edge innovations at the 2023 MEA LG Showcase, which aims to enhance customer experience. The two-day event is taking place at Habatur City in Dubai, UAE, and is attended by over 400 guests who will have the chance to witness LG's latest innovations, which will soon be rolled out in the region. Giving his keynote speech, Juan Lee, the Chief Executive Officer for LG MEA region, said the event has built a reputation for providing visitors with first-hand experience with the most innovative technology that LG has developed, providing their customers with first, unique and new experiences. Now, on his part, Dongwon Lee, the Managing Director at LG East Africa, noted that as a company, they are fully committed to supporting local customers and partners by fulfilling their needs as well as sharing the values the company stands for.
So although the global market situation is not favorable, it's not good condition, but the East Africa, including Kenya, still is the big potential we have. So from a perspective of the consumer electronics, LG, we are planning to pursue the sustainable growth strengthened by lineup, not only the LG differentiated premium product, but also with the entries, the volume jump for the customers. So we are still expanding the channel coverage with the new shop opening, but also even the current existing one innovation as well, in order to meet our market demand. So we are doing our best with the dealers to ensure easy access to the customer and then the product and the service as well. We also welcome customer feedback to make improvement and then deliver on what customer needs.